Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Don Jo. This is their part number EL102-622. This is an extended lip strike is what this is. I have one removed from the packaging here. So this would be called an extended lip strike. I mean, all strikes have a certain lip length that is considered standard, but lip length is one of those dimensions that needs to be calculated and ordered correctly. An extended lip applies to this because that lip dimension is greater than average. Average is 1.25 inches, 1 3/16, 1 5/16, right in that range. This is longer than that. And that dimension is taken from the vertical center line of the holes to the edge of the lip, and I believe this is a 2-inch. So it makes sense that it's 2-inch. If 1.25 inches is standard, 3/4 is really common in the world of construction, whether it be plywood or it be thickness of casing, things of that nature. So something 2-inch is not surprising to me at all. So this is what we would call also a full lip strike. You can see why we would call it that. We'd also call it a D strike, and you can see why we would call it a D strike. Overall height is 2.25, and that's what D strikes are. The overall width is about 2.5, but that's not the important dimension. It's measured from the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip is where that is, 2-inch. Okay. This is going to include a couple of screws in a compatible finish, and that's the 622 part of the part number. This is black. This is a powder-coated black. It's possibly made of steel. Let's find out. Yep, made of steel. I can probably do these also in brass and stainless as well. When they powder coat, when anything is powder coated, the rule of thumb is that the material, your base material, will be the least expensive. And that's generally not a problem. They wouldn't make this out of aluminum. But there are times when, if it's a push plate, you can powder coat aluminum. And the factory, if you want black push plates, they may take aluminum and powder coat that. You might say, well, I want the base material to be stainless steel, so you would need to specify that. But with strikes, it would either be steel, stainless steel, or brass bronze sort of material. This is black. 622 stands for black. Black is the vogue color nowadays and has been for a couple of years. It's the year 2020 right now. Black historically has been if you look at 100 plus years, has been a finish that's been around. You couldn't have really purchased a black lock set 5 years ago, but now it's relatively common where you're going to have requests for ancillary hardware. Like this morning, a client wanted a roller latch in black, an integrated roller latch, whether it be the DCI 4040 or the Ives RL 1152 or the Rockwood 593. I'm sure Don Jo must have one. I don't recall what their part number is. I'm going to pull it up, though, because this is a Don Jo video. Roller. Okay, so Don Jo does not manufacture that type of roller latch. The ones that I referred to have an integrated stop like you'd use on center hung pivots. So, black is a pretty common finish now. Now, where would you use this? Well, anywhere where you need an additional 3/4 inch. Meaning, when the door is coming to the closed position, that latch bolt that's sticking out, you don't want it to make premature contact with your drywall, your trim, whatever the case is. You could easily have a door that has been set in, okay, because you have applied material on the face of the door, a wall covering, a wall treatment. You could have some sort of fabric panel that's been applied. You could have drywall, woodwork. The bottom line is, though, that door is going to make contact with something prematurely, and that's where a strike would come in. Or you might just have a regular outswing door on your house, and someone has added either jam extensions or they've added brick mold, and you just don't want the latch bolt gouging that trim over and over and over. This client, if I recall, they have applied trim, I think is what he has, this client has. They have thicker than average trim, and then they have wainscot or chair rail is what I mean to say, running down the walls. of the home. But very common nowadays is to have no frame showing at all. There are manufacturers of such products where you've got a door hanging and you can see the 1/8 of an inch margin, but you don't see the frame. The problem is you need to make sure that that hardware is not prematurely hitting something. An extended lip strike like this could be something that you'd use. You'd also possibly see extended lip strikes in just a application like a kitchen pantry where there's woodwork throughout the kitchen. And they've gone to great effort to make everything blend together, but also to hide the pantry. That's not uncommon. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here's the item that we are looking at. Extended lip. These are also available with a 1/4 inch radius corner. If you wanted to have the outside corner of the strike rounded over, we're going to put RC in the part number. Why would that come into play? Well, if you have a wood frame that's been routed with a 1/2 inch diameter carbide bit, it'll leave you with 1/4 inch radius corners unless you've gone back and squared those corners out. Okay. Includes screws. These are not combination screws, but they are just a wood screw. Well, they're a wood screw. 2 1/4 is the height, 2 inches the lip length. It's made of 18 gauge steel, which is 0.50, I guess. I don't know 18 gauge is 0.050, but obviously it is. My caliper tells me the thickness is 0.049, so there you go. Flat black coated. There's a document here called Template that will allow you to review all of the dimensional properties of the item. Obviously beyond what we've already covered. Also refers to other finishes. 605 is polished brass. 609 is antique brass. 619 satin nickel. 620 antique nickel. 630 satin stainless. DU is a powder coated dark bronze, like an oil rubbed equivalent, but it's a powder coat. And they'll put that over, you know. The funny thing is none of these parts here are a steel base material. So for powder coating, they're obviously bringing in that third base material, steel. Meaning these first 4 finishes will be brass. This will be stainless. There's also a link to the product catalog. That product catalog is handy because it will allow us to review all of the extended lip strikes. And this is an EL102. It's on page 2I, so we can scroll to page 2I. Here we go. 2 1/4 inch extended lip strikes, and you can see they go from 1.5 inches to 4 inch. The only difference between these EL numbers and these numbers are how they're packaged. The EL will come in carded packaging, such as what we have here. It's the same strike. If you wanted the EL102, that's a 2 inch lip length, you can order the 9102. It's going to be the same item, just it ought to be marginally less expensive because the packaging is less expensive. Other extended lip strikes are here. A 2 3/4 tall full lip strike, that's pretty uncommon. I don't bump into those often. Extended lip ANSI strikes, 4 7/8 strikes, those are relatively common. You'll find those when you have precast wall, a 5 3/4 frame, and then drive-it applied to the exterior of the building, and now that latch bolt's gouging into that drive-it. So an extended lip strike will save that day. Now a 2 3/4 T strike, that you'll see extended lip options. The point of the matter is you can see through this catalog, it's all strike plates. So if you are not sure what you need, obviously reach out to us, but this catalog is a great reference for these types of extended lip strikes, these security strikes, other security strikes. A thimble strike, if you're going to drill a round hole only, usually in a steel frame. You can also do it in a wood frame. You'd use a thimble strike. There is no such thing as a fire-rated thimble strike, or a thimble strike permissible for use on a listed or labeled door and frame. Now this link here below the video will allow us to get to the Don Jo page in our site where you can review not only all of the Don Jo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full, complete product catalog, which is broken into its sub-component sections here. If you know the name Don Jo at all, you would for their latch protectors and their door reinforcing wraparound plates. You might want to review the other product lines from Don Jo because they have a fairly comprehensive offering of trim and auxiliary hardware. Let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, the name Don Jo is synonymous with decent quality hardware, as I just said. Not only that, but very good quality customer service, technical support, very agreeable folks over there who are certainly those who possess a working knowledge of our hardware industry. On the rare occasion that they make a mistake, they make it good pretty promptly. Not that it happens often, but it's remarkable when it does happen because I know that they own the mistake and they make it good pretty promptly. So to them we say thank you very much. Any questions on the Don Jo? This is their EL-102 and a 622 finish, or any other Don Jo product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.